Okay, here I am. I'm here anyway. And guess who I have today? I have Mr. Carter Abel. And Carter is the Director of Education with ECP, the National Director of Education, let me tell you. And he has massive amount of years in the automotive retail industry. And boy, let me tell you, he's been in and out of dealerships all over the country. So we're going to hear a lot of stuff, what's happening in a lot of the stores across the United States. And guess who else I have? I have Aviva with us. And Aviva is the regional director for the ECP stores in New Jersey and the DC marketplace and that sort of stuff. Now, for those that don't know who I am, I've been doing finance and insurance training since I can remember. I started and founded my company, Chernek Consulting, in 2001. And frankly, I offer the very best when it comes to F&I training. And, we're going to talk a little bit about why it's so important that dealers really have to have this out-of-the-box thinking today, more so than ever before. And that we're talking about, you got to get in front of that customer sooner, engage, connect, online, offline, and all of that. So again, guys, it's a pleasure to be here. So with that said, let's go ahead. Let's go with Carter. And Carter, if you wouldn't mind, kind of share with the group, what do you do, how you do, what you do.
Well, first off, I want to say thanks, Becky. Thanks for having us on today. And I hope you and your family are all safe and everything's going well. And I hope everybody out there is being safe. Crazy times, no question about that. I was saying 30 years in the car business, and somebody said, well, when did you get in? And they said, hey, I'll tell you what, it's 33 years. So I think you called me old, and maybe I am. So 33 years in the car business. I've been with Penske, Cars.com, Easy Care, ECP. And I just shared with Becky, I call it Director of Education because you train dogs, you educate people.
Love it. Yeah, and you know what? That's absolutely correct. And the reason why we love Carter, because Carter tells it the way it is. He just has a way about himself that really is, frankly, quite entertaining. And at the same time, we're learning too. So I think we can always, have fun while we're being educated.
There you go.
See, I didn't say train. And Aviva, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and share your background as well.
Sure, thank you. And again, to chime in on what Carter just said, thanks for having us on. We always appreciate an opportunity to connect with more people and be part of all the great stuff that you're doing. So I've been in and out of the car industry for over 20 years, in the corporate end, in the retail end, with Penske, with United Auto Group, going way back. So not to be like Carter and show my age, but once the car business gets a hold of you, once a car person, always a car person. So I've come full circle. Excited to be with ECP. Worked, indirectly with them through United Auto many years ago, and I've stayed in contact with them over the years, and really glad to be a part of the team. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad that you guys had a chance to be able to be here with us today. And a couple comments so far. John Fairchild, thank you so much for being here with us. John Fairchild's here in Atlanta, Georgia, and he works in service. And we're going to be talking a little bit about what's going on in that service department, right, Carter? And
absolutely.
Mr. John Fairchild, if you don't know him, he is absolutely terrific. He did have a chance to come to Atlanta's F&I Roundtable, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it in Baltimore. But he is absolutely fantastic. I love John Fairchild. And John, thank you so much again for attending today and maybe offering some of your tidbits as well and that sort of thing. And Michael Jarman, I really appreciate you coming in and also sharing this. And if I can get everyone as well to go ahead and share it onto your timelines, we really appreciate it. And definitely I appreciate it. So, let's talk a little bit about where ECP is going and what are you seeing your dealers doing with regard to what's happening in the industry right now? How are they dealing with this crisis, with the coronavirus? I know, unfortunately, some of these stores are being shut down. Maybe they're working from their service department, and that's where the bulk of their profits are coming from. Would that be fair to say, Carter?
Absolutely, Becky. We as a company are just trying to be there kind of right now in a hand holding. What can we do? We produce a very full array of products, not just protective coatings. One of the things that has been in huge demand right now are disinfecting products, that we make and that we share. So we're trying to get ahead of this and see help the dealer understand what comes next. When this pandemic's over, how are they going to be set up, ready to go, and what can we do right now to help them through tough times? A lot of it's right now, Becky, and I know you're doing this, is just reaching out and talking to people and saying, hey, we're there, feel your pain, and we're going to help you through it.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about that, because this is coming at us in so many different directions. I mean, it really is. It's obviously unheard of in my time anyway, and maybe yours too, Carter. But just thought I'd share that. But here's the thing. I mean, it's freaking scary, and a lot we're digesting so much. But I guess what I'm thinking is that, is it going to return to normal in 60, 90 days? What are we really dealing with here? What's really happening? And, even if we can get back to work, is it 50% capacity? Is it 30% capacity? Is it, do dealers have to kind of think through some of the shifting that's taking place? I mean, it's not like, oh, okay, guys, it's time to show back up to work. The party's over, or, the nightmare's over, however, which way some of us are looking at it. And, come on, come back to work. It's all good now.
Well, I love what you say. What is the new normal? Mm-hmm. And, I reflect back. It's funny. I was going back through some notes, and you had a great roundtable in Baltimore on digital retailing. Mm-hmm. And at this point, dealers, whether they want to or not, when they come back to what the new normal is, are going to be forced into digital retailing. The delivery of cars, people coming in showrooms, people at service lanes, it will all change. I totally agree with you.
Well, I think some of the dealers, and I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, me too. Sometimes I'm just like, sometimes you just have to call it the way it is. It's straight shooter, right? And it's like, I think these guys are just thinking that they're going to wait and they're just going to settle back, and come 30, 60, 90 days, everything's going to come back to normal. And it's a very unfortunate thing, because they're just not seeing the roadblocks that are in front of us. And those that are really willing to get outside that box and really take advantage of the tools, technology that we have, I don't think this time, I don't think they're going to fare very well. I mean, a lot of times there was a lot of, in one ear and out the other. Wow, it sounds really good, Becky. It's really cool. But you know what? At the end of the day, they weren't doing really well with this digital journey to purchasing a vehicle. So I'm going to lay this out for both of you. Is it because, I know what I think, but that's okay. So is it because they don't see it as being profitable, that I'm not going to offer this digital road to the sale? I'm not doing that, because you know what? We lost our butt when it came to putting cars online. You and I talked about that yesterday. We lost our ass when we lost our money. We lost lots of money, profits, when we put vehicles online. And then they swore up and down, I'm not putting pricing online, whatever I freaking do. I get that. I see where they're coming from. So they're thinking, there's no way in hell I'm putting my F&I online. So I want you both to go ahead and respond to that. What are your thoughts there?
Aviva, I'm going to let you go first, because I'm going to prove Becky right that I don't have a filter, because I'm going to blast this one.
You gotta.
I think that, the new normal is what we're all going to be living through for a long time to come. And just like you said, Becky, people didn't think that it was going to work to put cars online. Dealers fought it, and now they're going to be forced to do this because everything is changing. I don't think that we're going to look back in 6 months and much is going to be the same. And I think that, us being a trusted partner with, our dealers, we're able to kind of help them through seeing, what's going to need to change to stay relevant in the marketplace and capture that business.
Okay. And I think, again, I mean, I'm in a lot of dealerships and I'm in stores that, and I'm not going to say the names so you guys don't have to worry about that. But there are stores, believe it or not, Carter, that are still trade difference store. And I know you and I have talked a little bit about that. There's no way, Becky, you can have a trade difference store. I'm telling you, there's a trade difference store. So here's the thing. It's a high volume trade difference stores out there. And the thing that, they don't talk payment until that customer makes their way into F&I. And you would think after all these years, you're still a trade difference store. Well, these guys, they still sell a lot of cars and they still make a lot of money, although they have a lot of freaking headaches. Now, here's the deal. You have a store like that. That's the mindset. That's the culture. You with me on this one? Now, all of a sudden, you're going to go ahead and start. You're going to put Roadster out there. You're going to put, I don't care, AutoFi. You're going to put somebody else out there, platform out there that's transparent, upfront. Customers can understand their payment, their options, right? And everybody's going to be working with this and it's hunky-dory. That's where it breaks down. It doesn't work like that. You actually have to you got to merge this technology, right? With what's going on in the dealership. How many times was it? Go ahead, Carter.
Becky, I'm biting my tongue here. So
I know.
I'm going to tell you, here comes the real Carter out. If dealers want to stick their head in the sand right now, go ahead, because you're going to get a mouthful of sand.
Oh yeah.
You're gone. The internet was one thing. This is totally different. This is the Carvana's and everybody else's biggest dream. You know what? Any dealer can do what a Carvana's doing, or anybody else. If they're not willing to sell a car, I'm not talking just about BDC. I'm talking about true digital retailing, to take the process 100% online. I just don't see them being around. This is going to force the hand of many, many dealers to either get into technology in the digital world or get out.
Yeah, I totally agree.
How do you think other product providers, I mean, obviously you're a paint fabric protection big company. I know I had a chance to go through the company with Carter, and I was so impressed with the way that you guys do your business and the chemicals that you actually have, and your laboratory and that sort of stuff. But how do you see other product companies? I mean, are they surviving? I mean, what are they doing with this whole thing? How are they getting from, well, this is the way that we've always done our business, and, we don't talk about any of these F&I terms and that sort of stuff until the customer makes their way into the F&I office, and that stuff, right? And some of these guys are diehards when it comes to that. How do you see them pivoting to this new world event?
Yeah, it's like being a one-legged kickboxer in a ass-kicking contest. I don't think it's going to work. Sorry about that.
That's okay. It's okay. It's happy hour. It's already happy hour.
It is happy hour.
Yeah, I'm out in Arizona, so I can't tell you that. Yeah, thanks, ladies. I get water. Still work time for me. Here's the thing, Becky. And I've said this, and you've said this. We talked about it years ago. If dealerships don't put videos and F&I products online, and if providers don't provide dealers videos for online, I just don't think they're going to survive. I've talked to countless people today, both providers and dealers, and I'm so glad you're having this, and you've always been a leader in the industry. That if they don't jump on and change, I'm worried about the future of some of these guys.
And I just want to jump in because I think it's unrealistic to think that you can't share that information and that a customer is not going elsewhere and finding it. So that's right. So that's the problem. If you're not transparent, everybody's got the internet. Everyone's shopping online before they walk into a dealership or before they call a dealership or respond to the online chat that pops up when you go on a dealership's website. So either you're going to give them the information and present it the way that you want to, or they're going to find it someplace else.
Aviva, you're right. When I do sales education, I tell them, look, we are not where we used to be. Mm-hmm. And customers don't want to go back through that old road to the sale. Right. They're walking in, they know what car, they know you have it. They've done a payment calculator. They know what their rate can be. They have to change.
How many times does a customer walk in and actually know more about the car than the salesman that's selling it to them?
Well, the salesman's only been there 6 weeks.
So here's the thing, guys. One thing I wanted to point out, I don't know who's making comments, and I apologize. Could be Rick making comments on here, but I want to make sure that unless you're my friend on my timeline, you may not show up with these comments, or at least the comment will, but without your name. So maybe if you decide to go ahead and comment, just say, hi, it's Rick, or hi, it's this person or that. But I just wanted to let you know what was going with that. So we got a Facebook user who says, this is turning the dealer's thought process to an A to Z dealership program. I'm telling you, it is. If we're not having conversations about this, some other competitor, obviously, they're getting it. They see the benefit behind putting their products via online sooner and giving customers, access to this information. Here's the thing, and I've always preached this. Why aren't we doing a better job putting the customer on the right car to begin with? Why do we insist dragging customers into a dealership to spend freaking all day on the wrong car? Why do we do that? And then we decide, nobody's making, much profit here. And the customer, frankly, isn't that real happy either. They're not really happy either. They would see the benefit in these valuable product offerings, right? They do see the benefit. Unfortunately, they're totally out of budget. You can't include it if you wanted to. So I see this as an advantage to assuring that our customers are on the right car to freaking begin with before they even get into a dealership.
Well, Becky, I love this comment from one of your fans, or whatever we call them out there. I'm going to go back to the dealership world, and there's a big problem right now. Before the pandemic, the lack of true processes. So I agree with whoever wrote this. Dealers, are going to have a process from A to Z. Mm-hmm. And man, it's Viva, you said it. They're on the web for 17 hours before they walk in the door. And then Becky, I love that. Yeah, let's put them on the wrong car, drag them around a lot. And yeah, they hate the car. They hate the car dealer. They hate the salesperson. They hate the process. It's our fault. We did the wrong thing.
We continue to do it. And it's like, we're just so hard pressed. Like, we're not changing the way that we've been doing business, for crap's sake. We're just not. And it's like, well, while you're doing that, you're costing yourself income, profits. You're costing yourself customers. You're costing yourself your market share. And again, at the end of the day, the customer loses. Let's see another comment from this Facebook user. We don't know. Selling the product is not the problem. It's the training on how to deliver the product. We need to learn how to deliver the products to today's customers. I couldn't agree.
I'm going to tell you what we need to do is sell. I don't even think sell, but because I'm telling folks in trainings now that quit selling. Please quit selling your product. All we have to do is provide solutions. Look, everybody knows cars break. Everybody knows that paint's not good. Everybody knows that if there's a total loss, they're going to owe. We just have to offer a great presentation based on customer needs and their situations. Once the customer says yes, I think the delivery part's pretty easy.
Well, you know,
out of it.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I think about that whole deal. This right here, selling the product is not the problem. It's the training one. Delivery is one thing. Body language, which I'm going to be talking about on this 24 Global Summit, which I'm really getting into because I love this conversation about body language. Body language is key. And so is another thing as far as presentation goes. If you don't know the product inside and out, that's the problem. Half the time we don't even know our own products. I mean, like, are you kidding me? First thing first, if you're getting into F&I people, listen to me now. Listen to me, because we've all been there. We all do this every single day. And if you don't even know the product, what are you doing? If a customer has a question and you don't know how to respond, it doesn't matter. Your presentation goes down the toilet in a heartbeat freaking second. So you better know your stuff, and you know it inside and out. And you also know picking up that phone, engaging with that customer wherever that they are in that digital journey is going to be key. But you better know your stuff, and you better be able to present those products, address any of the questions, concerns that a customer has when it comes to those products. So yeah, because you know what, if you don't, your presentation is just not going to be as effective because you're not confident. Until you're confident, can you do a really good job in your presentation skills? What are your thoughts there?
Absolutely.
You are 100% right. You and I know we're in 100% agreement on this. If in F&I training, the homework I have participants do the first night is go read your contracts. It amazes me the people haven't read what they're selling.
Oh no.
And then you hit another thought on me is, why aren't we being the transparent, taking more time? I talk about video email. There's a guy in the Virginia Beach area that closed out last year at 92% service contract penetration.
Wow.
And he does it year after year. He's the best F&I manager I've ever met in my life. But what he's doing is he's reaching out to people after the fact, because you know what? Mike knows his product.
And you know, that is and let's kind of bridge to that. Let's bridge to that, because we have finance managers, if they haven't been laid off, hopefully not, there's going to be a lot. But you know what? Maybe that dealer can say, you know what? Here's the thing. Here's how I can pay you. Maybe they haven't even thought about this. Maybe they can say, you know what, I might have to send you home, but I'm going to send you home with a list of our customers to contact, call, and see whether or not they might want to go ahead and take advantage of a service contract or any other product. And you can talk about your aftermarket product and service. Is that not a way to go? Hello?
You know, you and I talked about this yesterday.
Let's get out of my head.
If service departments are the only people that are open right now, why aren't we doing good walk-arounds on the customers' cars when they come into service, and offering just what you talked about? Hey, Mr. Miss Customer, do you have both sets of keys? I noticed there's some dents. You know, your car is still eligible for a service contract. I noticed some spills. Do you have appearance protection? Becky, you're right. And I want to say this. If they're data mining in their DMS system and doing it properly, they're going to know who these customers are. And you're right. If they're at home, why can't they do a video email to these customers and then get them face to face, just like you're doing, and say, hey, I want to talk to you about this?
I think that's huge. Here's the other thing that I want to say about that too. I had another Facebook Live earlier this week with Adam Aarons and good old Jeff Stafford with Darwin. And both did an amazing job.
Yeah.
But Adam pointed out, we have customers coming back today with questions about their loans. They're scared out of their mind. What am I going to do? How do I make my payments on my loans and that sort of stuff? And here again, this is where Ev and I do your due diligence. Get ready for those phone calls. Don't run from those phone calls. Help the customer through it. Get on, do the video emails and say, hey, by the way, on behalf of ABC Motors, we understand that this is a really tough time right now. And maybe some of you might be struggling, with making your payments. And so please reach out, or here's a list of banks and numbers and phone numbers and emails that you can contact if in the event you want to defer a payment. But I'm here to address and answer any questions that you have. Now, I'll tell you right now, it wasn't right after that. Well, it may be a couple hours after that Facebook Live. I got an email from a dealer that I work with, and they were like, I can't believe it, because wouldn't you know it, it wasn't right after that Facebook Live, Becky's Facebook Live, we got a phone call. I got a phone call from a customer, and you know what? We did everything we could to address their concern. And then I came up with a list of all our banks, emails, phone numbers. So as you said, Carter, man, I tell you guys, I hope you guys are paying attention to this, and that you see the benefit in doing that. That's huge. And then, again, gold dig, gold dive, whatever you want to call it, but go dive, I don't care. But get in there and find the customers that didn't take advantage of a service contract that, by the way, notice that you didn't. I know this is trying times. We have a special that's going on. We invite you to our service department, any and all the above. And, we got to take the initiative to make that happen. And you know what? Maybe you're not ready for a loan today. Maybe you're ready for a loan or a new car next month. I'm here to service your needs any which way.
You know what? Amen. Amen. Right now is the best time to buy a car. I will tell you, it is a super time to buy a car. We've got 0% financing for 84 months. What a time to put F products on at no additional, you're not carrying any balance on that. Unreal. Video, emails on sales, service, and F&I are the way dealers can drive profits right now in bad times, scary times.
It is scary times. We have a Facebook user, don't know his name, sorry. I'm a dealer developer for a huge company. So, okay, I'm in hundreds of dealers. I see this all the time. And he's talking about process is imperative. And, when it is.
All that process.
From the time the customer lands on the dealership website to desking, from desking to finalizing the transaction in F&I or with a single point sales associate. I don't really care who you do it with. I don't care if you do it with an F&I person who's staying at home, for crap's sake. And maybe that's a good way of doing it, you know what I mean? And keeping these guys at work. And, those F&I people, if you're not doing it, do it. Tell your boss, tell your dealer, look, listen, I'll do this from home if I have to, whatever that it takes, right? I'll meet the customer on their terms. But here's the thing. Just don't wing it. Just don't shoot from the freaking hip on this deal. Every dealership, and you all know this because you've been around for a long time, but everybody does something different than somebody else. So it's important in understanding whatever that process is, getting everybody doing that process, right? Implementing that process, keeping that process intact, whatever that it is, but everybody needs to know what it is. Yeah. And you need not to be, whatever it is, you can't be afraid of it. You got to go, get up and get out and get going, and be proactive about it, right?
And Becky, you said,
go ahead.
You mentioned being afraid, and I think that because there is a lack of process, because there's a lack of, as Carter mentioned, education and feeling comfortable and being able to talk about the products, that's why there's the fear. If people know what they're supposed to do and have a process of how they're going to do it and have the education that they can feel comfortable with talking to a customer about the product, it takes away the fear. it takes away the reason to feel that you can't be transparent. I mean, do you agree with me?
I absolutely agree with you. The problem is with this transparency thing is that I guess I got to do it again, don't I? I got to shoot them straight. I got to be straight here. And you know what? I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go. But there are some dealers out there. I won't say every dealer because there's not. I mean, but there's a lot of dealers out there, let's face it, that still today, they don't do menu selling. They don't.
Right.
They still do box closing, right? Okay. And they wouldn't know how to touch a digital menu if their life depended on it. And let's really call it the truth here. The truth of the matter is when a dealer thinks they're doing digital menu, they're not doing digital menu. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Why are you even bothering? Why do you even bother spending that freaking money on a digital menu? And they bypass most of the system anyway. So the dealer's spending this extra money. Don't get me wrong. I like a digital menu. I like everything that there is to be about it and the benefit behind it. But the reality of it is there's a lot of dealers out there that don't understand the concept behind being upfront and transparent. They just don't.
Amen.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I'll tell you one other thing is, you know, look, I've been in this business 33 years. I watch, you know, F&I Today, your show, every time. What are we doing to educate ourselves, folks? And you know what? We got downtime right now.
Yep.
Let's get better at our craft.
yeah.
Becky, you provide a ton of information. And if people aren't on that on CBT News, shame on them.
Yeah.
And
You got to be a sponge right now. You really do.
it's a matter of being a sponge, but being outside your norm.
There you go.
We're all in that situation. Let's face it. I am, you are, we all are in this together. There's not we just are. I mean, maybe some are more set than others, but the reality of it is, guys, we're all, you know, out of place. We all are trying to figure this thing out. I know I am. I'm trying to figure out where are we going? But I do understand the advantages of the technology and communicating and engaging with the customer way. And the reality of it is, if I keep sitting here and not do anything, guess what's going to happen? We don't do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody else is going to do it.
I was online shopping today, and I won't mention the product or the dealership, but Becky, you've said it so well. It amazes me. It was call for price on the vehicles, and I just, you know, click off. I'm going to the next one.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, so that's like, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and catch them. We catch the fish. And here's the other issue, you know, and BDC is always trained up, and you know it, that they're training customers, don't matter, you know, what your budget is. I don't really want to know. I just want you inside the dealership. However, which way we can get you in here, we're going to get you in here. Is that fair to say, Viva?
Oh,
Again, you know, it depends on the process and the goals of the store. But I think for the most part, yeah, it's very true. Very true.
And I just, here we got one. Aim to predict the objection and get in front of it. And I think that's kind of like John Fairchild mentioned. And we definitely want to do that. But I gotta say that, you know, especially where this whole thing is going, we do need to get out in front of it, and we have to be more proactive rather than reactive. And that's kind of the game changer right there. Couple of things that I do want to put out there in the virtual space is that I do F&I training. For those that may not realize, I do F&I training. That's what I do. I'm also the host of the F&I Today show, which I love doing. But I'm also, that's what I've been doing, F&I training workshops. I in dealership training. I am like in the trenches. I work with the desk. I work from the desk from the time the customer lands on the dealership website, actually, to desking, to helping them really put that process in place, that where they can maximize their front end and maximize the back end. And you know what? the guys and gals that implement these best practices, they'll tell you it flat out works. It just works. And we just, we've got to do that. So obviously I'm not going to be in dealership, but I currently also offer a great F&I online platform for all my training, Chernek Consulting Virtual Pro. And so I'm going to actually be creating an F&I group where those that are signing up for my F&I virtual courseware can also get a part of this F&I group where we'll have additional content for them to also have access and get some feedback from the group and that sort of stuff. So having a little bit more fun with it. But at the end of the day, I think that we all have to get outside our own box, kind of figure out where we're at and how best we can maximize, our opportunities. And if it's right now, if it's service for the dealerships that are open in service, maybe it is a walk around and maybe it is adding that additional ECP product on to the vehicles and that sort of stuff. But we always have to think outside the box, get finance or if we have some downtime, we need to practice up. We need to understand our products inside and out. We also need to maybe take the opportunity to reach out to that customer via, I love that idea, a video email. I think definitely is the way to go. Let me see, I've got another comment here. Dealer owner managers better be ready to embrace technology ever more so now when we come out on the other side of this. That's Mr. Robert Moore. And hello there, John. Okay. Well, hello, John. There's a face with a name. Great speaking with you today. Hello, John. Oh, John. I'm sure I talked. John Fairchild, I guess. Oh, John Fairchild. He's talking to John Fairchild. Well, hello, John. There's a face with a name. Great speaking with you today. I'm thinking to myself, well, what John was I speaking to? I know I get out there, but come on.
Robert was right on his comment, Becky. Embrace it now or get left behind.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. And so I know you guys are always available to your dealer clients and you have various options of training products and that sort of stuff that you have available. They just need to maybe take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Avivo, so if you wouldn't mind, what kind of video, I don't know, what type of training content do you have that you guys share with your dealers?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, we have everything available either with Carter or with our regional managers, taking them all the way from the beginning to the end process, including service. I think that, we're going to start to see, more things on fewer people. So, we're going to look to, having the videos on their websites, on having, BDC even trained on the products in putting that process in place. But we can support dealers, from soup to nuts. We're here for them.
Perfect. And
Becky, we do have some webinars coming up, and I'm going to reach out to you. I'd love to team up with you again.
Yeah.
Your knowledge. So, one of the things that we are providing, any dealer that we're working with, I absolutely will do sales training, F&I training, management training, and we can do it just, whether it's a go-to meeting, get on the cameras, we'll talk. We've got to get more comfortable with technology today. And it's people like you that are going to move the needle, and we appreciate you in the industry.
Well, it's always been fun. One thing, we talked about as well, we are car people, and the car people, we're just a different breed, man. Come hell or high water, we're going to get through this. It's just the way it is, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, hell or high water. When they told me years ago, Becky, you know what? Here's the deal. You're a female. You can't sell cars. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? Who told you that? That's crazy. But, I realized I had the car gene in my blood. So I kind of knew that, that wasn't the answer. And that's how we all are today. I mean, this is who we are, and that's what we're all about. So it's just a matter of really switching up, thinking through some of this, realizing it's okay. We've got you. So whether it be through ECP, whether it be through Chernek Consulting, F&I training. I will tell you, I will get you from the time that customer lands on your dealership website. And here again, I will also, here's what I want to at least stress, that just because you put a technology provider on your website, don't make it right. If it's not going to go ahead and integrate with what you've got going on in that dealership, you might as well forget it. And I know they're probably going, Becky, why would you say that? Because it's true. It's true. Some of these tech companies cannot talk car lingo if their life freaking depended on it. They can't. They just don't. There's some, they're few and far between, but you have got to be able to have that technology merge with what's going on in your dealership, or it's going to be painful. And one of the things I can remember back in the day, I don't know if I don't know if you were here then, but I'll never forget when they took we used to handwrite the menu. We used to fill it in manually. Do you remember those days?
Oh yeah.
Right before they had the automated menus, we were able to print them up. So I had this gal come into my workshop, and she's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this deal. The dealer just says, print this up and it'll work. And I'm like, what?
It's magic.
It's magic. It's going to do it for you. It's going to make us money. So, it's funny because it doesn't until right? You can't put an iPad in somebody's hand and say, it's all going to work. It doesn't work like that. I wish it did, but it just doesn't.
Go back to what John said, and he's right. Hey, we got to do objection avoidance. And that's by doing a great presentation, knowing the value of your products. And Becky, you've said it. I've said it. Aviva said it. If they were free, what do you think your penetration would be? It'd be 100%. So they're value-added products. We got to do a better job at presenting them, whether that's digitally, online, whether it's a video, email, whether it's in person. We got to get better at our craft.
So let me ask you before, we call it a day. Should dealers be putting their products online?
Absolutely.
Should they put product pricing online?
I think that depending on what the product is, service contracts, I think that's hard because it's going to vary per car. Some yes, some no. It's tough. That's a great question.
So like, for example, I think they get a little shy, especially when we talk about the digital journey. And in that digital journey, once a customer determines the budget based off of, what vehicle likely that they can qualify for, then there are product offerings that they have available in that digital journey. And of course, maybe some of the pricing obviously is available, and or payments that are added to that, the products that are added to that payment. So they're like, I don't know if I want to do that, because at that point, then when does the dealer, when do they come in? When do they engage? Is it after that, before that? And what's interesting, there's several platform providers that offer different options. They're not all the same in that process. So when does that happen? I think for the dealer that's really not comfortable with this whole thing, I think, wouldn't it make sense to go ahead and at least engage earlier during that journey and to be able to address and overcome customers' questions rather than wait and not do anything?
Becky, I'll just go to a Cox Automotive survey that was talking on millennials, and then it said everybody else. And the percentage was in the 60s of millennials. 60% would consider F&I products if they had a chance to see them earlier in the process. Exactly what you just said. You know what? We're trying to play the coconut shell game, and that's not going to work.
They're not comfortable with the being transparent because, let's face it, some don't even understand the concept behind menu selling. They're like, Are you kidding me? I'm not putting a base payment out there. Why in the world would I put a base payment on a menu, Becky? Why would I put the terms? Why would I disclose that stuff? I'm not doing that. You're out of your freaking mind. See, I thought years ago we were able, and we did, we convinced many dealers, right, years ago, that, you know what, we can still be very profitable and still be upfront at the same time. They called me every freaking name in the book. So get your butt back in the box, Becky. What the hell are you doing? This is crazy. This is never going to work. You can't be upfront and still be profitable. But you know what? Like you said, Cox has proved otherwise. Cox is saying you can be upfront and you can be more profitable. Here's Scott Solins. Hey, Scott. Hello, Rebecca Chernek. You are the best trainer out there.
Woo, bravo.
I love you, Scott. Thank you, my dear. See, I've got some followers. Great. I love you too, man. Melissa Skinner. Hey, she was here. Hi, John Fairchild says. And then we've got another Facebook user. I agree. Some should be online with what it covers, but pricing should say varies by year, make, and model and miles, and go ahead and price out stuff like paint and fabric.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I think a dealer makes that choice.
You know, hey, before I'm worried about pricing, let's get them on the freaking website to start with, right?
Yep.
You know, I'll worry about price later. Just get your stuff out there and let people see them.
Well, here's the other thing. With this 24 Global, which I'm really excited about doing it. By the way, my time is at 3:30 p.m. on the 29th. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I keep forgetting that. Eastern Standard Time, not your time, Carter.
Yeah.
Out there in Colorado trying to catch snakes.
Arizona.
Oh, what was I thinking? Yeah, you're not on the slopes. You're catching those freaking snakes, which is amazing. I can't believe that you do that. It's just like, oh my God, I couldn't go anywhere near a freaking snake.
Everything needs love.
And you know what? It's all about a learning behavior, right? It's changing our behaviors. And so by that, I mean, guys, I'm talking about positioning yourself in your best being confident in your skin. And that means, let's tell you something. I said on the first Facebook Live, and the second and third and ones will even just get better and better. But you know, the thing is that I'll never forget when I sat in that F&I Today chair for the first time. I was freaking happy. I was like, oh, I was ready to pass out right then and there. And, you know, the minute the lights came on, I'm like, I was a deer in the headlight. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I was scared out of my brain. I don't know. It was weird. And because, you know, I could present in a workshop and I felt very comfortable in my skin and good. And even that was a trait, a skill that was learned, but let alone, because that's a tough way to go too, being in front of a group of people. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to pass out there. But when I got in that seat, let me tell you, in F&I Today, and those lights came on, to tell you, I'm like, oh my God, I was about ready to faint. So I can imagine people get a little uncomfortable on camera. And there's many people that don't want to be on camera and they're very uncomfortable. And how many F&I people do you know that say the same thing? Do you have to videotape me? Can't you do something different? No. And it's like, I got to videotape you because that's the only way you're going to know what you look like and how you present yourself and how confident you are in your skin. And that's
so important.
But it's really uncomfortable. So the thing is that that's a skill set. So you got to turn the camera on and you got to practice, drill, rehearse, and you got to keep doing it. Do some Facebook Lives for crap's sake. Do something. But you've got to start feeling good in your skin and turning that camera on and letting the customer know, hey, by the way, I'm here to address any questions that you have. Hello. Do those email videos, which I think, again, phenomenal idea. Phenomenal.
Yep.
But get out there and just get practice up. Know what you look like, and if you have to change the way you look, then you have to change the way you look.
I'm working on it, Becky.
Can I tell you? story. I'll have to tell you a funny story. I don't think he's listening, but I can't tell you the store, but this was just hilarious. So I'm in this deal, and when I get in an F&I office, I observe, right, the presentations. You with me on that, guys? Right? So we sit there and we watch, and we get into the presentations. We're listening to how they address and overcome the objections and stuff. And so I said to him after he did a few deliveries, I said, "Can we?" And I've been there all day, and I said, "Can we kind of talk through kind of like what you're doing?" Because yeah, I said, "Don't take this the wrong way," and I know you're going to love this. Both of them are going to love this. So I said, "But sometimes when you talk to a customer, you look so freaking condescending. It's not even funny. Do you know that?" And he's like, "What?" So I'm doing this, and his manager was there, and he was actually I don't want to get too much into it, but anyway, he's like, he got him the job. So he's standing there and he goes, "I can't believe you just said that." And I said, he goes, "You know why?" And I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "Because we had 3 customers who said the same thing."
Oh my gosh.
I called it. We had some fun with it. We did have some fun with it. He was from military, and he didn't realize, this look that he had, and he looked like a condescending.
That's bad.
And it did come across bad. And he always would seem to do it when the customer said no. It's like I said, here's what I want you to do. Instead of having that look on your face, I want you to put a smile on your face. You don't have to smile like a clown, but just put a smile on your face. And that's one of the ways you can break through this. Mm-hmm. Because people buy from people that they what?
Absolutely.
They like and who are credible. So, with that, we got some good laughs at it for like 2 days later. He sounded like a condescending, but he did it. And so sometimes with that video, it's so important, and you get to go ahead and call it out and really get a chance to, have that better skill set because of it. But there's a lot to learn now. We're going to be online more, and you're going to have to come with us. So that's it. That's it. That's all I've got to say. Carter?
Hey, everybody stay safe. Take care. It's not the end of the world. We can get through it, but we get through it together.
Amen. 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 And Aviva?
I agree with you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, try to find some of the good in everything that's going on, and, take the time to make sure that you come out the other end of all this, better than you came in. That's what I'm working on every day. So thank you so much for including us in this, Becky. Yep. Really appreciate the opportunity.
It was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I hope everyone else did as well. And you know what? We still have, we had 52 minutes in, so I think we did a world of justice here. And again, I really look forward to doing some F&I training stuff with you, Carter, and that'd be fun. I'd love to do the webinars with you because that's where I'm at. So you just call me.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything
again,
guys.
Thank you. I'm going to try to end this now.